And with that, here we have the next batch of customs for this week. So, slightly keeping up with the theme for last week, we got Oliver, another Great Western engine, and second Oliver. I'll go more on that later. And now for that kind of wacky, not too related territory, kind of. First, we got an Austerity, right? This was my old Wilbert, and I don't like him at all. I'm just going to say it. Past me didn't really know Wilbert was a real-life engine, so this was like, oh, he's not LMR. It's like, it's just inaccurate, all right? So it's not Wilbert I'm making today. I'd like to redo Wilbert eventually. I have the parts, but I don't want to bother making an entirely new one, and I don't like this, so I'm going to repurpose this. I'm going to break it down, and, I'm kind of going to keep it intact, but rebuild it to look a bit cleaner. It's going to be, technically speaking, a Great Western Austerity. Not a Great Western Austerity, but, like, it works on the Western branch. That's the kind of style I'm going to go for. Like, I'm thinking green, no lining, something like that. And for the final one, this guy. So he's the most obscure and technically unrelated to these guys. This is not a Sodor engine, but this will be a BR Class 14. And yes, this was Ivan of Russia. This was actually like a very old custom of mine, and I don't like it. This was my childhood Salty, but I don't want to use this for my actual Salty. I have a cleaner one. So, yeah, because with this one, I'm going to be cutting it up a lot. I'm debating on either cutting off the first two chunks right here, or like sanding the top down and making it square. We'll have to see. I got some ideas for these guys, but I'm thinking likely he's going to be a scratch build. I'm not too sure yet. I at least want to source the running board and cab. I know that for a fact right now. And as for a livery, I'm not sure just yet. I'll talk about this guy real quick. So he looks kind of beat up. Right, I started taking off the paint before the video. I just wanted to get to it. But, simply put, it's going to be a not TV series, but just Oliver. Normal 14XX. I'm going to do him slightly like Duck from the last video. But for him, he's not going to have, like, any GWR lettering. I'm thinking about making, like, a decal instead of putting Northwestern or NWR on the side of the tanks. I don't want to do that, so I might be making some sort of Sodor emblem this video, or last video. I won't lie, I'm not done with that yet. Or, I just started. Yeah, I'm doing a mega project again. Oh well, I'll be fine, But, yeah, so this is just going to be kind of my interpretation of Oliver. That's going to happen as it goes on. And the second one is going to be a pre-Sodor BR Oliver. As for livery, I'm thinking, yes, the main one's going to be normal Brunswick green, but I'm leaning towards black. Reason for that being, something that makes this related. Have any of you ever watched Peak? The Little Westerner. I love that movie. That was such a good movie. You got that Class 14, and Oliver, and black, and it's just, these aren't going to be related in the slightest. Just know that. These are not going to interact in my stuff. It's just, I needed to knock this guy out, and I was inspired to make this guy in a, like, black livery, maybe. But, yes, we'll have to see. That's really the only reason why I'm doing all these together. And as for the chassis, of course it looks pretty janky and missing a front. But my plan is here. I want to scratch build a new front. That shouldn't be a problem, right? Like, source the buffer beam from, what, Trackmaster 2 engine? I don't even know. And I'd like to have him powered, because here's the thing. As some people stated, Ginty kind of looks like Oliver, right? Oliver's not going to have any lining. Let me clarify now. Yeah, so basically, it's going to be me building another Ginty, just with a different cab, and I want to make him not front-wheel drive, but, have a side rod on the front wheel that moves and connect it to the middle wheel. I'll probably use Edward side rods, and I would like for it to be powered still, right? Because with these guys, I cut the cab back a little bit to where it helped the vibe, but you didn't really notice it. And I'm probably going to do the exact same thing with Oliver. So the build isn't going to be that different. Chassis should be easy. I'm curious. I got to figure out how I'm going to do the front wheel. Like, I'm either going to grab another one of these and see if I can slide it under the splasher without making it massive. Or I'm going to use one of these, poke a hole in it, and I'm probably going to, like, put... If I have, like, a spare one of these from, like, an Edward or Molly, I'll try and see if I can hammer it in there, like, drill a hole. And then, you know, I'm going to play around with it. I'm going to have some fun with this. So, I don't know, that's really it for the shapes. You know, nothing too special. But, come on. Yeah, first thing I'm going to do is... Well, actually, I'm going to get straight to the cutting, but I'm not going to show it, but I'm going to start taking the paint off. This guy, I'm probably just going to have to sand him. These old paints I used, they stick. I don't know. For Wilbert, turning him into a green Austerity, I'm probably going to put him in some water. I'm probably going to rip him apart and just redo it completely, because the top's a bit crusty. That was hot glue. I want to sand it down and use Milliput. It's just, I think the chassis is okay, actually. Apart from just, you know, improving this a bit. I think this just needs, like, a light sanding. And I might swap the wheels, because they're kind of gross. But, yeah, it's just, mainly the chassis is alright. It's going to get a repaint. But this guy, I'm going to break him down, you know, rip this off, and just give him an overhaul. Yeah. So, that's really all I have to say. So, I'm going to get straight to the cutting. So, here we go.
You know, it's different road, just running the flowers with glue. With the
With that, the cutting is mostly done. Mostly. Now, here's the thing. Basically, all these over here, these three, right now, their cutting is kind of halfway there, a little over. I'll explain on that later, but for now, I'm going to talk about the one that is technically done. The one I really didn't do any cutting to at all. Just, you know, taking the paint off. So here's my old Wilbert. And all the paint off, I sanded him down. I have some of the parts saved, like I have them just kind of cleaning off still. But the funnel, dome and water cab, you know, hollowed out in the front. If you've seen my old Austerity video, which wasn't very good, I did cut the one thing I do is cut the cab back. They can't be motorized. I think it looks fine. Yeah, that's, I don't know, not much to say, other than just I cleaned it up. And I'm going to be using some different methods too. That's it for that. I could have done a bit of cutting. That being a splice right here where the funnel is. Because this one's going to have a Giesel ejector. Specifically, I'll put a photo of it. The one where it's like embedded in the saddle. Like you see the cut-in. I just like it. That's really the only reason. I wanted to make something like it. I think they're cool. But yeah. All right, now to get to why these are half done. First, I'm going to get to the Class 14 here. So, this is just me not knowing what I want to do yet. As of now, it's just frame look. I can take this apart easy, right? These are all 4 separate pieces. But I'm hoping I can get them to sit back on this chassis. I overlooked a little something. And these are kind of needed to make it fit on here when the battery's on, like for it all to sit correctly. Because I wanted to scratch build a whole frame. I still plan on doing that. I might reuse the cab, but that's about it. But it's just a matter of I gotta find like what I want to do. I'm thinking, because I could not have just cut this down, because it's not that important. But technically speaking, the cab should be shifted forward, not to the middle, just a little more. But yeah, this is just me having a bit of a brain fart. I'm not gonna lie. I'll figure it out, but yeah, I don't know. There's a lot to think about, and I want to start the shaping. So as I'm building it up, I know where I want the measurements to be. That's what I wanted to say. It's the fact that it's too early to start cutting a bunch of other stuff yet or polishing. Yeah, Now, as for the two Olivers, it's the same issue, but a lot worse. So, I overlooked something, and it's not that big of a deal, but it bothers me. So, with a, let's say I do this, where I put a wheel right here. If you look at a Thomas, there's a, like, finger-wide overhang from the smoke box, or from the wheels to the front. The 14XXs, or 1400s, boy, I don't know. They don't have that. Like, imagine it ends, like, kind of right, not right at, but, like, shortly after the smoke box. And on top of that, there's not a big gap between the wheels in it. That's the important thing, right? Like, imagine, like, where it ends right now, the smoke box, is where the running board should end. But, of course, the smoke box can't be like that. So, in turn, I have to shift the shell back to, like, here? I don't know. That's my issue. I'm like, okay, so my thought is, I cut into the chassis block, like right here, and shift the section forward a bit, and fill in this section so the powered wheel is still where it's supposed to be. It's just, these wheels are forward, So imagine you have the two front wheels, like right here. There's a big gap right here in the wheel. The overall, okay, no, let me restart. See Thomas here? Imagine this wheelbase, but these two are shifted forward, and this stays where it is. It's the same length, but yeah. There's just a lot to think about, and I'm confusing myself. This is an even bigger matter of I need to start the shaping to know where I want to be. Yeah, it's, I really want to give this the not front wheel drive, but, you know, the rotating front wheels. I don't know, part of me is even thinking have him not motorized, because this should be motorizable if I do it right, and have it sit like this. I might have to do this really, but yeah. I don't know. I know I'm going to get this. I'm not too worried about that. It's just right now I am hitting a wall. Like, I have not had this happen to me in a while. Like, this is a point of, like, with my models, I like to get them as close to accurate as possible without completely messing up Tomy's scaling. I mean, like, Hank's an exception, but, you know, I want Oliver to look good next to Thomas. So Hank was the excuse because he was an American engine. I could have made him kind of huge. So, yeah, with Oliver, I have to kind of, you know, stay in the lines. So who knows? Let me grab my Ginty. I might just make him have these dimensions. I don't like it. It's going to bother me, but I might have to do that. Most likely, I'm going to have my hand at shifting this forward a bit. There's too much to think about. I'm repeating myself, but yeah, you get the point. I'm just confused. I'm confused. So, I don't know, you know, I ended the cutting stage a bit early. You know, of course, as you can see, I cut the cab in. I did do that to my Ginties before. That's one thing. So I know it's possible. I need to keep trimming it back a bit, but it will overall be the same length. Oh no, I think I cut it at the right length. But yeah, it's I'm working on it. It has a lot of things in common with the Ginties. Just saying, those old trains people switching the Oliver chassis with the Thomas one to make the Ginties. If you know those old I think 06 or I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying that we're onto something. The Ginties and 1400s had some similar structure, excluding the chassis. Yeah. All right. I'm talking about this too much. Right now, I'm just gonna get to the shaping. It's gonna be a lot. Let's just say that. But you know, no, I'm gonna have fun with it. So I'm just gonna get to it. I'm gonna stop complaining and do it. All right. And with that, 2 out of 4 are done. Yeah. So, I mean, everything's good. But I'm recording this, the shaping scene now because simply put, this guy isn't done yet. He's very, very close to done, so I'm willing to present him right now and then, you know, record some more later when I do get to him. These two are done. But no, I'm getting a chance where I can like actually have a little bit of time to paint, right? And I really want to paint these guys, so I'm kind of just doing this now so I can start, you know, show them off as they are. And, you know, I said 2 out of 4. If you remember, I was going to make a second Oliver shell. Yeah, so I chickened out, right? Because this was, you can see it from here, it was a lot more than I initially thought. So, what I'm going to do, I'm really wanting to get to the next project, I'll say that. Like, more than just making the custom, you know. I'm ending this series, if you remember. This is going to be the last video of this series, but, you know, I think there's going to be a bit more to look forward to with the next series, all right? But yeah, just I really do want to get a move on with this, and making that all over again will just take too long. So I'm thinking, this will I can't talk. This will come back, right? I might not make a video, right? But I'll definitely make this when I start a future project, right? I'll try and make the second shell. It's going to happen, just not in this video anymore. But yeah, that's a future thing. Future thing now. I hate to chicken out on something mid-video, but, you know, I feel like it's not that big. But it just, in the future. In the future. Final time I'm saying it, in the future. And yeah, and I'll just show him off now. As for this guy, the BR Class 14. I remember the name now. He is very close to done. Like, this is kind of what he's going to look like right now, right? But I need to do things like add handrails, ladders, right? I mean, shell for the most part does look done. Drill a smiley face. But simply, he's very close. And I'm probably going to do like a quick, maybe 30-second session after this video showing him off. Or photos, who knows. But yeah, this is kind of what he looks like right now. See, I haven't shaved off the milliput. But here, let's put him on a chassis. Yeah. I should have really done this beforehand. Where the heck did the wheels go? No, there we go. Okay, so here, with the old crummy paint, get those crap on, and yeah, so simply put, a lot of work was done on the chassis, and in the end, the screw, or the switch hole is very thin right now, but he will be able, or have the ability to be motorized. I gotta do some more, like, stuff so it can fit the chassis well, but yeah, there was a lot of shifting around, I can say, but he should look good. Yeah, and I shaved the running board down a lot. That's another thing, because for the Class 14s, the sides are pretty, you know, in line with the cab and these things. So I wanted to follow suit, so I just did that. And I'm completely shaving over this. This is mostly scratch built. And actually, it was like a little difficult at first, but you know, after I got the main shell down, it got kind of fun. For the doors and vents, I just cut squares, right? For this little lip, whatever it is, just 2 slabs of cardboard. Technically, I had to do that 4 times. For the horns and a little cab thing, toothpicks, milliput, more cardboard. Same thing in the back. It's really it for this guy. I'm not going to focus too much on him since this isn't the end. But, yeah. Now, for the Austerity. He does not have much shaved in there, or screwed in yet. But I'm very happy with him. You know, this is old, like the old shaping method, right? Let me grab 16. But with new materials, like milliput instead of just a bunch of hot glue and paper. So it's like, in the end, yes, it's going to look similar, but I think it's going to look a lot cleaner. Which I'm happy about. Here, like little I gotta hold this in place. Hang on. Little comparison, right? It's just gonna be a lot cleaner. I mean, only difference is you got the diesel ejector, which I think I can start with that. So with this, it was well, first I had to cut the slot in the saddle tank. Then I made this out of I think 5 slabs of cardboard and wrapped a little on the top. And honestly, I like it. This is my first time doing a diesel ejector, and I think it looks pretty good. Yeah. But you got the handrails, right? I reused the original ones, so thankfully I didn't have to cut out new ones, straighten the paper clips. Yeah, I was able to just reuse materials, which I love. Yeah. And let's see what else. Oh yeah, something I added that I didn't do on my old austerities. I added these little ladders right here and here, or a ladder and a step. There we go. That's easy. It was just a bit of cardboard and a paper clip for the bottom and top. And actually, my toaster model has like this exact same thing, just more of them, right? Paper clip, step, step, step. Yeah. And cab, you got a door at the top. I think that looks pretty nice. Didn't do much to the back. You can still see the paint. I moved to the cab location. I filled in this with Milliput, then cut a new one here. Paper clips for the handrails. And something new I'm doing. I really want to try to start experiment with a Trackmaster 2 truck wheel. Because these little ones, right, the middle wheels you get on like a Thomas, they are really, they're scarce for me. And I do kind of like it when people do this. So I thought, I'm going to try my hand at it. And I think I might start doing this from now on. I kind of like it. It looks better with the side rod on. I don't know, and especially for the Austerity, where they're very, they have a lot of, their wheels are close together. That's what I mean. It does help the feel. But yeah, that's mainly it. Big thing. So something that is different in terms of shape, actually, I said, they're really similar, but I'm pointing out things. I brought the front of the tank inward with Milliput, which I think that's going to look pretty nice. And yeah, in turn, that does mean the saddle shape at the bottom, it is a bit different. Yeah, okay, there's a lot of things different, I guess? Yeah. And the other thing is, you got the whistle here, which before, there's so many. Okay, I'm just finding a lot of differences. It used to just be one right here, yeah? Now, I cut a hole in here, and on the bottom, it's a little hard to see, but it's, if I can poke it through, because it is sunk, it's a separately fitted safety valve and a whistle. It's just held in with blue tack right now, because I need to paint this separately. I'm going to die if I have to paint this while it's glued in there. But yeah, that's is it for the shell. Oh no, you got the brake line, but that's really it. And, the bottom of the boiler. Before, actually, it was really thick. I cleaned it up, made it look more like I don't know, it just looks better. Now for the running board, which actually, I'm gonna take these off. Something you may be noticing is there's a bit more to this than usual. I cut a hole in the middle. Now this was just for fun, right? It looks good, but if you can't really see it that well, right? It's better at the bottom, but I've thought, okay, this isn't gonna be motorized, so there's not gonna be a bunch of junk down here in the way. I mean, I probably could do this on a lot more. No, I don't think it's even that it's not motorized. It's just it works, right? Despite them not lining up, I'm going to say that now. This is meant to be to represent the middle axle. And this is just rough valve gear detail. It's very simplistic since you're not going to be seeing it. But I like it. I think it's a really fun detail. And I will do that from now on for engines that I can. But yeah. And, the rest is really simple. I filled stuff out with Milliput. Shaved it down. One thing is, I added a little coupling to the back, right? I want to start doing this just because I think it might be nice. I added a new one to the front and had to fill in the gap with Milliput because I remember Kid Me did the front coupler mod, right? You shave it here, you're able to hold one in there. And I don't want to do that now. Actually, I'm thinking about maybe developing a system where you can slide some cardboard on and boom, they got a front coupler. Something interchangeable for all my stuff. A little hint to the future if I do stuff. But yeah, it's just, I like the dummy coupler. They look a lot better. They fit my style, so I added a new one. And yeah, that's really it for the Austerity. Uh-oh, I wanted to go further. So now, for the moment you've all been waiting for. Oliver. I am so proud of him, actually. I was scared. Because, at first I thought, okay, I'm just going to use the original boiler. But then I changed my mind, okay, the 14 XXs, they have a slightly smaller boiler. And I thought, okay, I kind of want to keep that in because this is a Thomas I'm using. And I really want this to look as much like Oliver as possible. I was kind of scared after that because it looked really bare bones. But as soon as I added stuff, it's holy crap, I I'm so glad I did this detail, right? Okay, and the other thing is, I got the wheel. I got the coupler to rotate perfectly fine. And the thing, he free rolls so well. I'm super proud of this. Like, here I'll go over a small detail about the undercarriage, right? Here's the thing. For how I kind of like shifted this, it's held in by the screw that held the original plate, right? And I couldn't use the original plate anymore, so I just fashioned something for, like, let's say, I have a scene where Oliver's tipped over. It's not just going to be hollow. I have like cardboard there, so it's not just complete guts of the engine. But yeah, if I want to take the wheels off, I just have to unscrew this. It's simple as that. Yeah. But yeah, you got the underframe. The front, it's, completely scratch built. Trackmaster 2 chalk buffers on the front and back. And I had a little coupling to the back too. Quick detail. There's a lot to go over with them. Wow. Handrails, some by the cab. I brought it in with milliput, right? I lowered the cabs a bit because 14Xs, they have it like about to the length of this. Yeah. And I added a lip to the tanks, right? Because they have that. I like it. I think it's good. Front handrail, it's 3 pieces, right? 2 straight pieces, and I glued a curved one to the front, which I think looks pretty snazzy, if I do say so myself. 3 toothpicks for the lamp irons. The wheels, they were sourced from, specifically two Edwards, right? First being my old Oliver, which I should pull up now. Yeah, my very old Oliver custom that I hate. And the second one is just from another Edward I'm kind of using for parts. I mean, it'll be featured in something else. I'm cutting it up with the intention of reusing the main shell. But yeah, it literally 2 Edward wheel arches. I mean, I don't know if I said that. I was kind of half focused there. I think the tanks, part of the tank sides for the little toolbox thing on the sides. Water caps, which is cardboard. As for the firebox, it's just curved cardboard with milliput in the grooves. Safety valve is a Lego piece. I think I have spare somewhere. Okay, here. It's painted and up in junk, really crummy, but one of these Lego pieces, right? They work well for Great Western style safety valves. And just, if it can focus, disc at the top, cardboard disc. My one complaint with this model, and somehow my one complaint only, the whistle, right? I mean, I couldn't change this, right, without making the firebox go forward way too much, but it's really close to the safety valve. So I can't really show it off very well with the camera blurring, but from the sides, this is what it looks like. Then I can live with it. It's fine. But yeah, boiler bands, right? I made those with cardboard. The feed water heater, that's from the running board piece, I believe. Dome is from I think it's like one of the one-off Thomases. Not Trackmaster 2, but it's like late Trackmaster, whatever those were. I don't know, I can maybe put a photo of it, just give myself more work. But yeah, and also finally, I gave him the little door. I did that for the Austerity as well. The back, just cardboard. I was really simple. Did a little lip. Actually, one thing I didn't mention. Oh no, I did mention this, how I cut into the back. Sorry, I forgot. But yeah, that's it for the main shell. But here's for another surprise. He runs. The thing I barely do, and this is like the most difficult one. He runs, and he runs well. Yeah, I'm happy. So, he simply put, he comes off like a normal one. Battery, it's really snug in there, so it rips off every time. Oh, and here's the other thing. So since the shells are supposed to be interchangeable when I make the second one, I couldn't glue the splasher on here because, the color would have, or the splasher on here, because the color would have changed. But having it glued to here, that means I can have 2 per model and they have the color changes. But I do have them glued in, right? I added like little toothpicks to like reinforce it with super glue. But yeah, I like him. I think he looks pretty good. I'm really proud of him. Motor, it's the main gist, right? But with something different this time. I had to jerry rig it to where usually there's this plate here. It's connecting to this here, right? There's like a whole new bit. But because I cut the cab back a little more than usual, I couldn't do that. So I had to solder this on, and the wire is just kind of attached to where it does this. Yeah. Oh, and final thing, I added these. Yeah, those little bogies. I tried to shift them back just a tiny bit. They're not 100% centered, if you notice that. But it's simply done to create an optical illusion that they're further back than you think, because the wheelbase is not close, but I don't know, it helped it a bit. I can say that, and it's hard to put on, so I'm just going to put it on without the battery. But yeah, I mean, that's really it for the shaping. I'm actually like, Oliver, I was scared that this was a flop custom, but dare I say, banger. Yes. So yeah, with that, I'm going to get to painting specifically these two. I don't know if I'm going to do like a quick 30-second video on the rest I did with this guy, or if I'm just going to post photos, I'll probably do the video. But yeah, I'm going to get to painting. I can say 100%. He's going to be painted with them too. As for liveries, I forgot. I was about to completely skim over that. Both of these two are going to be in my usual festive green. Well, usual is GT and duck, right? This green. That's what they're going to be in. As for this guy, I'm debating liveries, but I'm thinking matte black. I don't know, but yeah, it's basically that. Oliver, he's going to have mainly TV series colors. But yeah, now I'm going to get to the base coats of green, black, and red for the buffer beams. So with that, here we go. Alright, so with that, here we have the base coats on. Yeah, and I'm liking them. First, I'm going to start with the Class 14 here, specifically the chassis. It's not much yet. It's, just matte black for the wheels, red in the middle. I admit, you'll see on the buffer beams, I didn't do full coats, because painting red sucks. And I'm just going to carry that into the next segment. You get the picture. I know I do this a lot, but yeah. But, okay, so with the motion, let's say, it's going to look something like this with the red part, right, the drive shaft or whatever. I doubt that's what it's called here that it looks like without a side rod. I think it looks good. As for the shell, literally just matte black, and I got green on it somehow. Okay. Yeah, matte black. And something I'm going to do with the final details, I'm going to do wasp stripes on the front and back. So I think that should look pretty good. Yeah. So that's just going to be a masking job. Should be pretty easy. Just time consuming, but I'm looking forward to it, honestly. But yeah, red buffer beams. I was contemplating yellow, right? But I thought, okay, if I do the wasp stripes, that's going to be way too much yellow on both sides. So, yeah, that's the idea. I mean, as for final details, it's not going to be much. Just that, pick out some like handrails in the top in silver. Really, there wouldn't be much to clean up as it's mainly one color. Maybe make the windows a gloss so they pop out a bit more. And that should be it for this guy. Next up, the Austerity. Let me tell you, this is not Eric. Not Eric. Sheffield, that's his name. This is not Sheffield, all right? This is not Sheffield. Please. This is an original character. It is just another green Austerity, right? Thomas and Friends has colors. Please. Before I get people asking. Okay, that's my personal experience. Gripes. Okay, I don't care. Yeah, so here we have it in green. And I'm liking it a lot, honestly. I think it's pretty solid. Yeah, not much to say. Just, it's not 100% like clean lines, as you can see, but black on the roof and front. I think it looks pretty good. I like it a lot. As for the diesel ejector, right, I had to take it off because I needed to paint green on the inside. When I paint this all black and that, I'm going to just glue it back in. Yeah, so I think that looks pretty good. Yeah, and as for the shell, it's just black with not fully done red on the front. And here's the thing, I'm pretty sure I have, but if I haven't discussed this livery fully yet, this is basically just going to be the same kind of style Duck and Oliver are wearing, right? Like, think of it as like a unlined northwestern green, something like that. And, I mean, just the only thing about that is black sides, right, instead of red. And I'm not going to do any lining if I haven't addressed that yeah, I want to keep this guy specifically just with no lining, which honestly I like. Sometimes I like some simplicity. All right, saves me the time to do lining, but I just think it would look nice, kind of an industrial feel. Yeah. So, but apart from that, just pick the silver out on the handrails, some red like right here. The whistle, which is going to be separately fitted. Windows, but yeah, that's going to be pretty good. And now for the main man himself, Oliver. I love Oliver, actually. Like, I was really doubtful, but like, holy crap, this kind of just looks like a 14XX. I'm proud of myself on this one. I gotta be real. Not to pat myself on the back, but yeah. So solid green. I think it looks good. Black on the smoke box and the roof. Right, it's the same case as that guy. I gotta clean it up a bit, but this is mainly what it's gonna look like. Chassis. Is this the... Yeah, no, oh. I was showing the wrong chassis. So this is what I showed with the Austerity. This is Oliver's chassis, and this one's the Austerity's, but it's just the same thing, really. Not much to talk about. Literally, they look very similar, just Oliver's is slightly shorter, like, by that much. Yeah. Yeah, as for final details, right, or just detailing in general, I think she's going to kind of have the TV series look, right? Like, Duck could say, oh, he had the silver buffers, and just the 8 wasn't lined out, or he didn't have his number or whatever, right? It's kind of just going to be the same for Oliver. Really, nothing much is going to be different except for silver buffers. But he's going to have the 11, probably the little GWR symbol, and that's going to be it. The rest is going to stay the same. So, yeah, with that... Well, actually, here's the thing. I think with the final details, I'm just going to also do the clear coat and weathering, right? I usually do my segments of, oh, okay, it's we did the final details, now let's do the clear coat. I'm just going to mix it up, because I feel like this is already a long video already, and I have some stuff to say around the end. And I don't think that would really be lacking. There really isn't too much of a difference between the two. So, yeah, when I do the final, I'm just going to do the final details, clear coat, and weathering for all these guys just right now. Yeah. I'm happy with them. I think they look good. So just, yeah, here we go. And with that, these guys are done. Not put together, but done. Yeah. So here you have all the final details and the weathering. I ended up not doing the clear coat yet. I'm going to do that like right after this, but yeah. All right, first we're going to go over the Class 14. Okay. So really, I weathered them up. It's... not like too, it's subtle in some places. You can mainly see it on the buffer beam, but I did a kind of overall dusty feel, right? Because this guy, I don't know if I've clarified this, but this is not a soda engine, right? This is for a completely different thing. And this thing's like a hard worker, right? It gets like maybe wiped with a rag once a week, so doesn't care if he gets all grimy. And I wanted to go for that, which I like it. You got a little, it's hard to notice, but like a little bit of mud, dust, or whatever it is on the vents. Try to like get in the crevices, but it's not really picking that up. Okay, yeah, that didn't translate very well. All right, and on here, a little bit of mud on the frames, and these are red. But yeah, okay, I'm completely glossing over what I did. Okay. As you can see, I did wasp stripes. I mean, I know I said I was going to do this, but wasp stripes on the front and back. I think they look pretty good. It was a lot of masking. Like, I had to measure it all out, make sure the lines were even. I did it once at a time. It was easy when I got, like, the right down. Then I could just mirror the left. But to start, it was a lot to do. I can say that. It looks really good, though. I'm proud of it. And you can see on the top, I gave it a silver rim for, like, the handrail thing. I don't know. Oh, yeah, silver handrails. And as for decals, it's a little British Railways logo, right? With the running number D9522. This was just one that was scrapped, if Wikipedia is telling me the truth, as we know. But, yeah. I don't know where I'm going with this, but it's just... I picked a random number, one that's not around today. Nothing too special to that. And that's really it for the Class 14. Windows. I made little windows. I cut them out in cardboard. If you can kind of just see them. I think it looks good. I like them a lot. I'm really proud of this as a scratch build. Now for the austerity. So over the running board first, I went for like a little bit of a muddy, dirty feel, right? Kind of heavy on the buffer beams. Same on the back. A little bit of dirt on the frames. If you can just, the camera, it's gonna pick that up. It's more noticeable on the model itself. Oh yeah, I glued the diesel ejector on, and the whistle and safety valve, or one or the other, or that looks pretty good. If you can see in here, it's like glued in right there with some super glue. I painted the inside of the cab like a cream color. I think that looks pretty good. The windows are gold on the wood, or gold trim. Both sides. I did this to where I had to cut them so like they'd fit. I think it looks pretty good. And silver handrails. And as for the name, Beverage. Yep, I know this sounds really stupid, but understand this character. You know, originally I said, okay, this might not be the Austerity Engine. It's gonna be. Because the one I was thinking before, it would have appeared much earlier, when technically speaking, like Wilbert, like canon-wise, or just real life, well, he was restored like close to the 80s. So, this guy wouldn't appear until like, let's say 1985 minimum. So I just thought, this isn't going to appear in my writing, because I don't really write around that time period. So I thought, you know what, just get silly with it. And plus, you have toaster here, so you have toaster and beverage. I used to get kind of fun. So yeah, that's really it for beverage here. Weathering, as I said, went a little heavy. I'm not going to put that on yet. You know, I put like a little bit of a rust where the water would go, and if it's spilling over, kind of sit near the funnel. Heavy on the back. And a red reverser rod here that likes to bend. So that's really it. Very simple model, bare bones, but honestly, I dig it. And I keep trying to put it on the chassis. Now, for the final one, Oliver, the lightest weathered of the bunch. On the running board, you can tell there's a little bit, but nothing too heavy. A little more on the back. No mud on the frames. This is really it. I cleaned up the entire thing, right? Red buffer beam, silver buffers. I think it looks pretty good. Same on the back. And as for the shell, as you can see, GWR and 11. I just went with the basic decals. I was considering not doing the GWR symbol, but I'm just gonna go with Canon here. I'm not gonna branch out to anything unique because it's just Oliver. He looks good this way. Yeah, I like him a lot. So simply doing my new kind of cleaner decal method of where I cut around the number instead of just cutting as a square. I think it looks a lot better. And silver handrails as usual. This thing, it fell off so many times, but I think it's gonna finally stay on. I glued it on good. Yeah. So windows, I cut them out separately. Actually, fun thing about the windows. So in the back, as you can see, there's none attached and kind of went heavy on the weathering. That's because the coal load, the windows are attached because I want to make it so his clothes are removable. You know, I don't make this as a necessity, but let's say I'm filming and I want to film there out of coal. Very rare, but let's just say it's something like that. I can take it out, spruce it up. Yeah. I mean, of course, he might not have windows. I'll probably like rig something real quick, but yeah, these are attached to that. I think that's kind of a fun, creative thing. Yeah. And what else? Okay, I painted this gold, right? There's a small part of me that was tempted to paint it green. Because let me grab him here. My duck model, I painted his safety valve gold when, I mean, it does appear gold in some illustrations, but for most of them, it's just green. And I kind of like that, right? I'm not sure if I like it on this model that much, but I want consistency. And I was like, okay, I don't know if I want to do it on Oliver. But no, he's consistently depicted with a gold safety valve, so I just went with it. And honestly, it looks a lot better on him. Yeah. And it's just like a Lego cone piece. Pretty easy. And on the top, it's a just disc I cut out from cardboard. And I painted black on the top to represent, like, you know, blank space. The whistle, as I said, is really close. Like, let's say I need a close-up shot. I'll probably be cheap and just use ducks. I think that would be kind of fun. Like, I'd zoom in right here and, like, use that for Oliver's whistle. So, yeah. I don't know. It's silly, huh? But I like it. So, very light on the weathering. As you can tell, it's, like, on the top. That's really all I did in the bunker. But, oh yeah, and black here for the little clips. But that's really it in terms of details. I'm trying to zoom through this, even though it's 7 minutes, dang it. Yeah, so I really want to get these guys done, right? I have some big plans soon, so I want to just, get them out of the way. So, I mean, with that, that's really all the weathering and final details both together. I personally like these guys a lot. I think they're pretty clean. So with that, all that's left is to just give them their clear coat and put them together. Here we go. All right, so after the clear coat and assembly, the BR Class 14, the Austerity Engine, and Oliver are 100% complete. So this was a very interesting project. Like, none of these characters are technically related. Like, I'm still figuring out this thing's lore. But, I mean, these two never interact. I can say it. This is not a soda engine. But, yeah, very random assortment. But I'm proud of them. I think they look good. So, I'm going to just jump into it here with the Class 14. The simplest of the... Or, not technically that's the simplest, but this one, pretty easy scratch build. I can say that. And I gotta say, I am digging how this thing looks. So... Here, I'll just do a little quarter turns for anyone who would like to view. So I gotta say, I'm digging the hazard stripes. I think they add a fair bit to the game. And as for the chassis, see the way it fits, there's no screws, it just kind of snaps in there. Yeah, but it works, See, you heard that? Yeah, and I like the method where I cut the wheel. I think that actually looks pretty good, dare I say. I was thinking, like, okay, is that really going to look good when I do it? But, yeah, I think it does. Yeah. I mean, I already kind of went over everything that I've done. But, yeah, here's the complete model. And as you can see, it has a switch. But here's the thing. There's no battery in it. This thing is such a crappy runner. I don't... Man, it's such a crappy runner. I could not imagine why. Yeah, I caved out this entire thing so I could fit the battery in. I don't know. I got to work on it. I don't know if I should give him a brand new motor. That would feel like a waste. I don't know. But, yeah. I'm really wanting to try and make my runners run, right? But this guy, it's like, there's too much to troubleshoot right now. I don't care, dare I say. Well, I do care. I'll fix it later. But as of now, it does its justice. And here's the thing. It's a little difficult to put back on the chassis. See, because you got to get the slot for the coupling in while having to line it up with the switch without pushing it forward. So, last try. I'm going to get it right on this try. Okay. It never gives me this much trouble. There. Okay, that was harder than it needed to be. Alright, no, for the Austerity Engine. So, for the Austerity here, of course, blank face and no face for that guy. Just, simply for both of them, it's like, I need to make them, and, that's not the... I want to have time to make the faces when they, like, appear. Even this guy, he's probably not going to appear, since I said, like, what he would appear in, like, the 80s, 90s. So I don't write around that period of time. So not a priority to get a face, but I think it's fine. And I gotta say, I like it a lot. Like, here, let me grab my we did grab my 16 real quick for a comparison. And I gotta say, a lot cleaner. Of course, this is a lot of similar methods, but really more refined. Like, instead of just using a bunch of crappy hot glue, I used clay. It's just overall a lot cleaner. Like, I'd love to redo 16 eventually and a new Wilbur. But as of now, I can say glow up. Pretty big glow up. Free roll's alright. He was having some trouble with it when I first put them together, but I think it, like, settled in. See, like, it's cheap, but I just kind of glued the wheels in. This uses James wheels, because I don't have to repaint them, and when I keep, like, repainting wheels, they just kind of start looking ugly, because I have trouble stripping the paint off of it. So if I can just put a clear coat on James wheels, I'm fine with that, right? Like, if it's you know, 2 different colors. It works. It works. I usually have a policy of painting my wheels, but in terms of this, I can accept it. I did something kind of similar with Oliver. Actually, good segue. But before I segue into Oliver, I'm gonna do the little quarter turns. 2, 3, 4. You may notice it has no rear coupling. That's because I forgot. I'm not gonna lie, but it's easy. That's easy. But yeah, I'm digging this guy. This is really just, I wanted to make this for the fun of it, right? Like, I'm like, okay, what can I make? I'd like to make my Austerity Engine. And I've been thinking, like, okay, I think one in unlined green would look good, right? That's the only reason I made this. And I'm happy with it. I like him. Or her. I'm not sure yet. I got nothing for this character. Yeah, but that'll come when it comes. But now, segueing into probably the most highlightable one of them all. Oliver. So, I could say this is a massive improvement. Like, if I can grab my old one here. Daniel, cut a bit of this out. So be prepared. This was my old Oliver from like 3-4 years ago. Some of you may remember him. I hope you don't. But yeah, this was made out of an Edward, believe it or not. Only reason was, of course, because of the front wheels. I hate this thing so much. It uses the same shade of green. But yeah, I can say, I think the difference in quality is really noticeable here. Like, the proportions, like, I was scared that this thing wasn't going to look good, right? But, like, dang, I'm pretty proud of this. Like, of course, he's a bit short. Like, if I get, here we have Toaster. Toaster is a standard tomy length. Oliver comes up a little bit short, but I don't hate it because I did that to get the 14XX proportions. And yeah, it looks pretty good in my opinion. So here, I'm going to do a quarter turn thing. Just pause the video if you want to really pay attention to how he looks. Yeah. So overall, it's actually a good thing to say is I now have both Great Western engines. Yeah, he's same paint style as Duck, right? Like unlined green, black on the sides. My trademark red side rod and red crank pin that I'm kind of roping myself into. I know technically this would be black, but I think it looks good. And it's kind of hard to repaint and get the paint off of. Yeah. Oh, well. But yeah, I now have 2 of my Great Western engines. And there's something that bugs me. So, as you can see, they kind of have a slightly different green. That is because my clear coat messed up with Duck. I never addressed this, but I use this, right? It's nothing special. But what I think happened was I put it on too much at a time. I usually do like light coats, wait a bit, another light coat. I usually do like 4 of it, right? Nothing heavy. But I think I went a bit too fast and a bit too much, and it fogged up just a little bit. He looks fine, right, on his own. But when I have Oliver next to him, the camera might not pick this up as well, but it's like, they're slightly off. But no, I'm not going to let it bother me. I'm not repainting this guy. I'm still proud of him. But yeah. But the main focus here is Oliver. Now, I don't know. I can just say he was a really fun project to do. Like, you know, specifically because, you know, the front side rods. And speaking of, he runs pretty smoothly. But yeah, it's like, that was my worry for this. Like, I wasn't sure. I was having some issues where, like, the wheels were locking up. But it was just, okay, I had to trim some stuff down. It was, dare I say, an engineering experience. Yeah, and I'm proud of it. I think he looks good. He looks like a 14XX, as I've said, I believe, in my personal opinion. And yeah, of course, I had to compromise a bit in many places, but you know, I think I'm satisfied. I made an Oliver I'm satisfied with. That's where I'm getting with this. Like, he was one that I was like, not putting off, just I was like, okay, I'm going to get to this eventually. How the heck am I going to do it? Right? You normally see people using Thomas, so I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to use Thomas. I think that works well. And yeah, Thomas was a very good base. So yeah, that's the main bit. Like, let's see, what can I talk about? I've already talked over the building process. Is just, he's done. He rolls very well. Oh yeah, one thing. So, if anyone does plan on doing this as well, just know he has an issue. If I can grab a piece here, just let me rig something. So, click that together. Slide this here. Clink. Oh, of course he does it that time. Okay. That. Okay, he can have some trouble with points. Like, okay, it was weird. See, okay, now he's doing it. At first, as I was building him, I'm like, okay, I'm going to test this out. Because I was warned, and it's like, okay, it might be a problem. No, he took points just fine, right? There was like one configuration that he derailed on, but it was just one very specific one, and it didn't matter to me. But now he's derailing on like almost every one. I don't know what happened. The shape was done when I tested it, so it's not like anything was different, but just know, specifically, it's because of the traction tires. Like, let's say it's hitting a sharp point curve, and it's like, it doesn't have time to compensate, unlike, because it takes corners tracks just fine, right? It's just the points, because it's like, imagine like, at a curve, it's gradual. In a point, it's like making it go 30 degrees to the left, so it just climbs up it. That's the way to say it, just climbs up it. So yeah, be warned, that is an issue. But I'm willing to compromise for that personally. I think it'll be fine. But yeah, of course he's rear wheel drive. And yeah, that's really it. So I'm gonna move Duck here. I've been talking for, 12 minutes. But now I think it's time to kind of close this. The last episode of Customs in the Making. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm going to add a bit to this, but for the Oliver section and these guys, that's really it. So really just thank you all for watching. And not goodbye yet. So, I'm going to kind of talk about my idea here, right? I want to change. I want a change on this channel because test readers, right? My latest writing project, and actually one of my ones that I'm okay with, that got me thinking. I can edit. I am capable of editing. I have an editing software. Why am I doing this? You are listening to a man talk for an hour for like, it just barely edited. And it takes a while to, like, watch all the footage for me, which, I mean, technically is contradictory, saying it's not high effort. No, that's the thing. This is not a high effort series. I started Customs in the Making when I was, like, 15, 14, something like that. Just whatever, 5 years ago. And I stuck around that style. That's my main issue. Like, I started as, okay, I did it in sections, and of course it evolved a bit in the early days, right? It changed into just me talking through each section. But that's the issue. I stuck with that. And it just evolved into this. What I want to do. Because this is not the end. This is not the end of me making custom videos. This is me wanting an improvement. Like, I can say, I'm just going to say it flat out. I might be going on a small YouTube hiatus. I mean, I upload barely, so that's not saying much, but my plan is, I'm not going to say who. If you're following me on Twitter or something, you'll know, but I'm going to be doing a big batch of customs, and I'm thinking I want to finish them all together. I want to edit an individual video for each one of them, release it weekly, and then I just kind of do the normal thing where I make customs as I go, and it would be around the same date it takes me to make a video. Like, it's just, I want to, like, do a big batch at once, then release those, like, consistently. Then after that, I can just I make 1 or 2 engines at a time, blah, blah, stuff like that. Yeah. But I want to start editing my videos. That is the main point of this. I want to make them interesting, not an hour long. I'm talking, like, 20, 30 minutes max. I want it to be where anyone can be invested in it. Because really, I'm going to be honest here. I never really cared about the YouTube side. to me, it was I wanted to have fun making the custom. And it's still very much so that. But it's like, I found editing's kind of fun. So it's like, why not make these videos high quality, make them enjoyable? Yeah, I'm just repeating myself here, but it's I really want to up the quality on the channel. And I'm talking like, not even custom videos, right? I'm going to be launching a new custom video series, this is going to be, but I want to start like writing for videos. I want to start filming. But I mean, I can't lie, life's been busy. But I can say, with the time I do have, I want to spend it making some, dare I say, higher quality stuff, you know? But this doesn't mean that this series was bad. Frankly, specifically the season 2 of this, I can say that really was a journey. Because the season 1, all of them were crap. I'm sorry, I hate every single one of those models. But this one, I hated them at the start. But I can say, like, around my Murdoch video, that's when I started getting good at models. Like, I can say it really has been a journey. You know, I'd say, as I said, Murdoch was probably the one that I was the most proud of, or was starting to get proud of. And then, you know, I made Lady, which I started to refine my building skills. Of course, she could use a bit of a sanding here and there, but I think it's overall clean model. King Class, a remaster of an old model, and I freehanded the lining, but it's when I started to get clean with it. After that, you got, not canon anymore, but this was supposed to be 9462, and Alfred, who is not going to be canon anymore. I'm going to be doing something different for that. And then, if I'm right, after that was a major scratch build, Hank, right? This, Hank was such a fun model, right? This really pushed my scratch building skills to the limit. I want to move these guys. After that was Toaster and my Bagnall. After that was the LNYR class something. I forgot, I'm sorry. Yeah, NOC. And Diesel 10 with a fully functioning claw. I mean, like, and I can say, Hank territory, he could use a bit of sanding, but no. Toaster and the Barkley, Cole, that's when I started getting good. This is when I hit my stride as a modeler, I feel. I started doing masking tape, and I started, like, caring about, okay, make sure there's not too many visible glue lines. Like, this is when I started, like, you know, this is like the line for my things are acceptable. Everything from here, this is like, I'm happy with them, right? I can live with them. Yeah. But, you know, after that, after these guys, I believe, you got my Jinties, which I cannot put all of them on screen, and my Ivets, including Arthur. And then after that, yeah, Connor and Caitlin, some of my most out there models. And then you have now, with the Austerity Engine, the Class 14, and Oliver, and Duck, and Diesel, if I can fit all these on, right? Like, as you can see, I'm doing a shift to where I'm focusing more on my Northwestern fleet. I'm going to be doing that from this point forward, I feel, right? There's going to be some stuff, but I'm going to be putting a big focus on these guys, hint, hint, nudge, nudge. But yeah, simply put, the way I view this series, it was a journey to become a half-decent modeler. And I'm not going to fit all these guys on here. And yeah, I can say I'm proud of my work. This series, as I'm saying, was not all bad. But I want better. And I'm hoping that other people would want better too. So just know, this is going to be my break. I'm not going to lie. I'm starting models right now. I'm going to still be going. But I'm going to take a bit. Make sure I got the editing style down. Make sure I got the videos in. And then the new era of this channel starts, I feel. So, with that is really it for me to say for my piece. Right? I just wanted to explain what my idea was and just what I want to do. I know I'm yapping. I know I'm blabbering. But just know, for what it's worth, there's a lot to learn from this series. But with the new one, I want to be able to more show how I made them, rather than just talk about it. like this. So I think that's my closing piece. So I want to say to you all, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.